has been the strengthening of the debt management unit. The debt management unit was in a deplorable state before the inception of this project. Thank God, the latest rating also has scored very high marks for the Gambia's debt management situation currently. So that is a big plus also.
The ADB's support will complement the work of other donors such as the European Union, the International Monetary Fund and the World Bank that are supporting other projects including policy development, planning and budgeting process and execution amongst others.
This is a 3 years project aimed to support the government with implementation of its public financial management reform strategy with the general goal of to establish the efficient, effective and accountable use of public resources as basis for a stable macroeconomic environment, socio-economic development and improved welfare for Gambians.
Safi Dambeli is the project coordinator of the ADB funded 2.2 million units of account equivalent to $3.2 million. The second phase of the project is focusing on capacity building for stable macroeconomic management and more accountable use of public resources, with the beneficiaries being the Ministry of Finance, National Audit Office, as well as the Finance and Public Accounts Committee of the National Assembly. For Grts News, I am Debusu.
National Assembly members have unanimously condemned the ECOWAS Commission President's verdict that the November 24th presidential election was not going to be free, fair and transparent well before the die was cast. While discussing a resolution tabled by the majority leader and members of for Serekunda East, Honorable Fabakary Tombong Jatta, lawmakers said James Victor Beho's conclusion was premature. Aissatou Badian Sarr was listening during sittings on Wednesday and she filed in this report.
The resolution tabled by the majority leader and NAM for Serekunda East Fabakary Tombong Jatta condemned the declaration made by the president of the ECOWAS Commission, James Victor Beho, who prematurely and according to the majority leader, maliciously declared that the country's November presidential election was not free, fair and transparent, even before Gambians went to the polls.
Honorable Speaker, there is ample and compelling evidence within the Commission today and also being circulated within the ECOWAS governance institutions like the court and the community parliament that the decision of the President was an unlawful and illegal discretion which was based not on the recommendations of the fact-finding mission to the Gambia, as the President has alluded to. Honorable Speaker, to the contrary, the ECOWAS President's decision was based on information he received barely 48 hours before the presidential polls, allegedly from an opposition leader in self-exile, who alleged and recommended to him that there was no need for him to waste time and resources to come and observe elections in the Gambia.
The motion, which was seconded by the NAM for Tumana Netibalde, saw the House vehemently denouncing James Victor Beho's decision and his failure to send ECOWAS election observers during the last month presidential ballot.
Honorable Speaker, the people of the Gambia wish to reassure the member states of the Economic Community of West African States, ECOWAS, and the international community that it has always been and will remain committed to the notions of people's liberty of choice to electing their leaders on the basis of social contract, and will also continue to advocate and adhere to the principles of democracy and good governance for sustainable development. Honorable Speaker, in actual fact, the seizing of the opportunity as it presents itself and the international community to the UN, AU, OIC, and the Commonwealth and the diplomatic representation present in the Gambia reported that the presidential elections were free, fair, and transparent.
Rejecting the Gambia's election at the very eve of the polls without any justifiable reasons is highly unacceptable and tantamount to gross misrepresentation of truth and democracy.
In my opinion, I consider this decision to be unjust, incorrect, baseless, and deceitful, with malicious intent to tarnish the spotless integrity of the Gambia.
What the opposition members have done so far, they have vindicated us. They have rightly stated, according to what they have said here, that the elections on the 24th of November, presidential election in the Gambia, were free, fair, and transparent.
The debate even saw the other side of the House slamming what they describe as a premature decision made by the President of the ECOWAS Commission. The People's Representative shared the opinion that Beho's decision was not shared with the head of state of ECOWAS or the chairman of the authority of head of state of ECOWAS and did not seek their approval. The Minister for Trade, who is also responsible for ECOWAS affairs, had this to say.
As Minister in charge of ECOWAS matters and member of the Council of Ministers, which is the oversight body over all community institutions, I have addressed a letter to the Chairman of the Council of Ministers expressing our total dissatisfaction with his decision and calling on the Council of Ministers to bring him to order.
According to the National Assembly members, the declaration made by Beho was intended to divide the people of the Gambia and to disrupt the peace and tranquility the country continues to nurture. They commended Gambians for ignoring what they described as hateful and malicious incitement of the ECOWAS Commission's president to plunge the country into post-election violence. Gambian lawmakers did not stop there, as they demand for apologies to the citizenry. Aissatou Badiansar, GRT.
The National Environment Agency wishes to inform the general public that the Operation Clean the Nation scheduled for Saturday, the 10th of December 2011, is cancelled till further notice as a result of a presidential directive. Meanwhile, the NEA takes the opportunity to wish the general public a prosperous month of Muharram and Merry Christmas in advance. Time now to take our first break. We'll be right back.
Play your favorite song to your callers with the AfriCell Fun Ring service.
Ko ngal salamu ntelem Jalex aka Akuntu ngani soto na julol to AfriCell Fun Ring service. Yo nko 10687 wole mala koti. Hey, uko kayaba kola woni sewo 11113 wole mala koti. Yo, woye 11289 wole mo fana na koti akaje.
I am going back home.
Hey, sambi mbina samba fana na code bafintila phone ring service odo. Hey, na fansol fana be mumbe mbal tentula. Hey, na album kuto samba fintila.
Welcome back. Greece is one place where citizens are learning all about political decisions impacting people's life and outside the corridors of power. A crisis is brewing on the streets of Athens. As we hear in this report by CNN, a generation of Greeks are now living without shelter.
Scenes like this would have been a rarity until a few years ago. But this is Greece's new street of despair. There are the new homeless, a new generation of the street, who until recently had a shelter, job, and a mortgage. You don't need to look very far to see the country's financial crisis is rapidly turning into a social one. In just 1 year, soup kitchens have seen a 20% rise in the number of people who rely on them for their daily food.
There are people who came here for first time. They are new poor, and they lose their jobs from the crisis. They are pensioners who goes down the incomes, and now the only place where they feel safe is here to take some food.
51-year-old Yorgos Pefanis is one of these people. He's been coming here every day for the past year. His story paints a picture of the crisis to hit Greece. Until a few years ago, he had a job as a baker, but the company had to downsize as demand dropped due to the recession.
When we had the money, we didn't manage it properly. We are here now begging for a plate of food. If someone told me 10 years ago that I would be here, I would have taken it as a joke, if nothing worse.
Thousands of people have lost their jobs as a result of the financial crisis in Greece, and an increasing number are finding it difficult to pay their bills. And for some, there's little choice but to sleep rough on the streets.
Many of these new